This episode is sponsored by Launch. Are you an insurance agent that is tired of quoting business to try and find a better premium to win new deals? Are you looking for a way to differentiate and stand out from your competition? Well, look no further than Launch. Launch is an industry-leading software platform that gives you pre-built assessments that you can walk through with your prospect. Launch automatically calculates your prospect's risk score, and this allows you to show your prospect the areas you can fix to negotiate better premium and coverage with underwriters. Offer more value to your clients, turn missed sales into closed business, and most of all, become a better advisor to your clients. Visit getlaunch.io today to get more information on how you can use Launch to win more BORs starting right now. That's getlaunch.io to learn more.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Optimal Tech Stack Series 4, Getting Past the Premium. We're super excited about this series where we're going to be bringing all of the new technology that is tailored to risk advisors and folks in the industry that are being used by some of the most forward-thinking risk advisors and agency owners in the industry. And so we have conversations with those folks about how they've elevated their game using the latest InsurTech and just some of what they're using in their tech stack, in their firms, as well as beyond. And so enjoy the episode and look for more episodes in our Optimal Tech Stack series. All right, David, good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to jump into a new famous person too on, you were on the news, national news, right?
Yeah, I was. That was fun. Yeah, Fox Weather had me on for some of the atmospheric river and flood stuff. So it was a new experience, but it was a great time.
Yeah, you're famous. First time I think we've had a famous person on the podcast.
Stop.
Yeah. No, so yeah, tell everybody who you are, who Coastal Insurance is, and your background, and then we'll kind of jump into talking about tech stack and your firm and everything.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, so Dave Clausen, Coastal Insurance Solutions. Parents founded the business in 1979, brick and mortar shop. And I was in college, always worked in the business, never got paid more than $12 an hour. I'm very proud to say that. And they get a chuckle out of that.
Yeah.
And kind of set up the framework. They said, here's a chip, here's a chair, here's a phone, go be a producer. Let's see what you're made of.
Sounds about right. Yep.
They said we're in the ski business, which is spending the kids' inheritance, so nothing's coming from us. So,
that's awesome. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah. So I said, all right, I got to get to work, and I did. So after college came in, and started. The internet was in the very beginning then, and so we started buying some leads, and from there I built a website, or what you would call it one when it was a Windows 3.1 tab, or who knows, right, back then.
Yeah.
And it's evolved into, quite a machine at this point, and we're proud of it. And, there's always obviously some operational challenges when, you can overwhelm the staff or underwhelm them. And, so we went through all those, we're still going through those struggles, just like a normal business would. And that's my story, brings me to today.
Yeah. So when did you start kind of on that transition to building the website and getting the online presence and marketing going?
Yeah. So Better Business Bureau actually told me that it was 2010, but it's not. But no, it was 2000, right after I got out of college. So somewhere around 2001, 2002.
Okay.
Yeah. Right in there. 2003, I would say, is probably when I started dabbling on my own. We were paying back then, I think it was $14 a lead, which we thought was crazy, but,
wow.
It eventually they started to get more expensive, and the leads, kind of the quality just went down. You'd see almost the same lead from the year before or something, and they're like, whoa, we insure that guy. And, we said, maybe I could do this on our own, and that's kind of slowly where it started out. And then, we branched out from there. So really 2003 to answer your question.
Yeah. And then just to give everybody some perspective. So maybe break that down a little bit on your, how you're generating leads today, what that looks like from a high level. Cause I think that'll lean us into then what tech you're using to do some of that and things like that. But just give everybody an overview of the model.
Sure. So we drive traffic to our website. Through value add, I'll call it, right? So we'll write a podcast, we'll write some content, and we'll do a video sometimes on top of it. and from there we'll put that out into the world. And sorry if you hear the kids in the background, but
No worries.
and then hopefully people hit the site and fill out the form. And we try and position ourselves as experts in our individual industry. So we do quite a bit of flood insurance. We write some, also focus in more on the high net worth space, and regular homeowners insurance is our bread and butter from Long Island, or package policies we'll call it. So that's the idea, is to drive folks to the website, have them either call us or fill out a form. Yeah.
Nice. And then, because I know that you have grown significantly over that period of time. How much of that do you attribute to, or is it all to the online marketing, lead gen, and such?
Yeah, so I would say at least 85% of our new business, 90% comes from online lead gen. And that's been a main driver for us in the last few years. Yeah.
Wow. What type of business is it, David?
What do you mean by that?
What type of business are you generating through? So is it, like what's the split between like personal and commercial? And then
right.
If you could break it down any more from there.
Yeah, so our online lead gen is at least 97%, 98% personalized.
Okay.
We're 3%. We, by accident, sometimes, I have one DBL for whatever reason, disability liability thing I had done back in the day that just, I don't know why, I don't know why people fill it out, but and the rest of it is so we had a revenue stream that has been dwindling on the commercial side. As the percentage, it's probably grown 5 to 10% or 15% year over year. However, we're just outgrowing it from the personal line side. So as it sits there, I would tell you that we're 90% from a revenue standpoint, personal lines, and 10% commercial.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's unique. It's not the normal agency, and going from brick and mortar to online, I think is, it's difficult for a local agent because, it's tough to breach into, okay, we're going to write some content and we're going to get out there. It takes forever.
Years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Longer now than it probably did when you got started.
Oh, you bet. You could rank @1 for red sweater 3 times if you wanted to. Which I had no interest in, but certainly Long Island home insurance I did, and that was when they were, that's when it was easy.
Yeah.
So we try and focus a little bit more on long tail keywords, right, rather than going after home insurance, for example, or we'll go after some longer ones, and then hopefully that'll engage the traffic, right, and then from there we'll try and scoop them up, if you will.
Yeah, totally.
So just give us an idea on your geographical reach as well. Are you focusing more local, or where are you trying to go grab new clients?
So we started our nationwide expansion, my best guess is going to be 3 years ago. We were just in New Jersey. So I'm from New York, Long Island, New York. Right? That's where Coastal Insurance was founded.
Okay.
And now we're in over 30 states.
Nice.
So all the way from, you think about California, Florida, Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, and all the way through up on the coast, and then over to, Illinois and, Virginia and Maine and New Hampshire, all that good stuff.
Do you mind sharing how many personal lines households you have around about? You have any idea?
Oof, I could look it up. I don't know the answer to that right now. I'd have to look it up.
That means a lot for those out listening. And
Well, we've been really pushing the limits on and reinvesting every dollar. All that goes into marketing. So we've been on a tear for sure.
So let's break that down, because that's always kind of the first spot we start when we talk about our tech stack in a firm, right? So when it comes to technology, what are you guys using from a marketing lead gen perspective? And then I'm also going to throw out with some of the recent developments around like Chat GPT and things like that, if you're using any tech to develop content.
Yeah. So, so do you want me to just start with our kind of tech stack in our agency management system? Okay,
Yep,
so we run
sure.
Applied Epic. I think you guys do as well, right?
Yeah, we do. Yep.
Yeah, and so we have Salesforce built in. We have Salesforce for Applied, right?
Okay. Yep. You did the integration. Yep.
We did the integration, right? And I was fortunate enough to snag somebody who was very familiar with Salesforce and how those integrations worked. And he happened to work for a large insurer that also used Salesforce. So we were, so from the Salesforce development end, it made sense for us to go the Salesforce route. We weren't hell bent on Salesforce. We would have gone to HubSpot or whomever we could have used to, because Epic is closed source. So connecting with them, it's not like you could just plug in and be like, okay, we're ready. You get the bulk data extractor at night that you can kind of manipulate a little bit. The BDE they call it, I think. Yep. So we have Salesforce built into Epic. Then before that, we were I don't want to say before that, but we had Agency Revolution was doing our ongoing agency, we'll call it relations, right? Yeah. So those are our two main stacks, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm really curious to dive into that Salesforce Applied integration, but let's go to the step before that. Before they hit Salesforce, what are you using from a marketing, lead gen, content building perspective, to roll them into the model?
So we have I almost consider us a marketing company rather than, to a certain extent, rather than an insurance agency from my perspective, right? Because that's where I excel. The operations, we can hire folks that are better at that than me. And, sometimes getting in the weeds with emotion and employees, it gets fun, right? And I try and stay at the higher level or just over where I'm good, right? I know, my core competency is that. Well, I'll hire out all the other stuff, right? So from a lead gen perspective, we try and look for what people are looking for. What are the answers that they want? I'll ask the staff, what are the top 5 questions you're getting this week? What are the top 10 questions you get for this line of business? And then we'll do some research, online and kind of see, does that make sense to write an article or do a video on that, right? So and then that's the content, end of it. And we also have our own ways to figure out what would make sense to maybe, complement for content and all that good stuff. And then we do paid search, right? So if somebody's intent marketing, right? Intent, give me a home insurance quote, right? Or give me a da-da-da quote. We will do some paid search to attract those to our landing pages that are designed for those intent type of, folks.
Okay. Have you read They Ask You Answer is it Marcus Sheridan?
No, but that's a familiar name.
It sounds like exactly what the model you're using. It's basically like what you said. I have not read the book, so full disclosure. We've just had several people recommend it on the show. There you go.
Ah, look at that.
Yeah.
Ryan's got it right.
I just ordered it.
Awesome, man. Very
good.
good.
On my desk, hasn't been put away yet.
And we've had, I don't know, probably 3 out of the last 4 guests, it seems like, have brought that up. But essentially, it's what you're doing it's the magic to marketing and lead gen is basically answering your client's questions or your prospect's questions.
Well, yeah, I think so. And doing it in a way that allows for your website to be noticed, right? So having the right robots.txt, having a sitemap, having these, things that are SEO optimized, and also, having the site work well, so the way I think of it is really just, it's all about the user. It's not about me.
Yeah.
Right. And we've been working on that forever, and we've A/B tested the hell out of stuff, and still we're learning it's changing. Right. So we A/B test something or, after a while, you just get a feel for it. You just know, right? You can see things are slowing up, but we made one change and, why did that slow up? And so, from, the user experience end, I want to build everything to what they want, what they like, right? And especially our higher revenue drivers. So, but usually if you find something that works, you can just replicate it, right? You could just go boom, boom. Okay, that worked for Long Island flood. Let's build out 30 pages, and then we can go after kind of paid search from that end of it, right? But the paid search is a long game too. It takes forever to get noticed and recognized, and we've spent, I would call it, millions on mistakes, frankly, and it's frustrating. It's a lot of wine, a lot of 1 o'clock in the morning, just going like, oh, what am I doing? What's going on? And then looking at the data and trying to figure out how do we line all that stuff up. So
totally. So have you explored using any of those chat GPTs or anything like that to help write some content, or what? Maybe I'll ask this: what's your perspective on those when it comes to writing content, using it for lead gen, stuff like that?
I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible. I do think you need to be a touch careful. I mean, I asked it a question that I answered, and I thought it was me writing back to it.
Yeah. It's insane.
Right. And I'm like, oh boy, did it just steal my stuff?
Yeah.
And so, I think there's a few things with it. I think that's the future. I think they're going to shut it down soon. I don't think it's going to be free.
Yeah.
I think there's some enterprise, level folks that'll be able to direct API into it. And, from a use case content provider, I think it's absolutely insane. I think it's incredible. I really do. And, but, if you just take that stuff, copy and paste it, forget it. You'll get caught.
Yeah.
After a while, I'm not saying tomorrow. You could be number one, and then wham, they're going to figure it out. That's Google's. I mean, think about it. Google's built on content, on information, providing information, and they're not going to take that, or there's going to be a fight, and some of it's going to be like, you copied, you're done. They're going to have to make a stand somehow.
Yeah.
I did hear that they're trying to put some code in the background. They're starting actually to put, like, I don't know how they're doing it or whatever, but they're actually like coding the letters, like, so
they're tagging like chat GPT. So one AI can't learn from another AI and stuff. So they're
just so it knows that it was them, and then you're rewriting this portion, right?
Yep.
And then it's knowing. So that's the latest I've heard. I don't know how far down the road that is, or if it's actually being used at this point.
That's the thing, is like we can go down these roads, and ultimately where the conversation seems to stop is it's a good supplement, but you're not ever going to be able to replace like the human thought and art around creating content for your clients.
No, especially if you're doing some, well, you know what? It's so good. I don't even want to say that. One thing you can use it for, I think, which is kind of smart, is perhaps taking one of your blogs and having it write a video script, right?
Yep.
Or tell a story about your agency. I'm not a good writer. I am not.
Yeah.
I'll have the thing write thank you notes to people for cookies. Because I'm just, it just says it better than I can write it. But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So from that side of it, I'll use it for maybe for tenses and verbs and writing back an email. I'll try and, if I need to be smart that day, and send a really important email, then I'll use it, So I think, it could be trained, which is really scary, on actually being a CSR, right? So, once it's released, my understanding is, it's going to be a use case training. So I think eventually, this is my opinion, eventually it's going to speak with my company's brand. And that's what I want. I want it to be able to do that the right way. I think it'll take years. I think we're years and years and years out. So that's a long-winded answer to say, interesting, damn cool. Maybe you could use it to learn about some things that, maybe if you're interested in digital marketing or something, you can ask it questions, how could you go about gaining rankings in this area or that area? And I think it'll be more honest than Google would.
Yeah. Well, and the honesty piece of it is it's just spitting information back at it.
From 2021.
Yeah.
It is.
With some potentially leaning biases, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, you know what? The cool thing is I actually looked at doing some stuff with it, and there's like a moral meter you could adjust when you purchase it. So, or you link into them, so you could be, it wouldn't let me be Tony Soprano the other day. It wouldn't let me be a mobster, but I could act as Tony Soprano, right? So I think the moral thing is set real, tight right now. But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, it is for sure. So, okay, so then where, maybe one spot to wrap that up, where do you post content? How are you getting it out there? What are you using, to, whether it's build landing pages or blogs, or just maybe walk through that piece of it real quick from a tech perspective? How do you get those set up efficiently and operate effectively?
Yeah, I mean, efficiently is not the best word. Because, it takes us longer than I want. We do have a process, and all of our things are not in, or to be frank with you, our ducks are not in a row yet. So, because we try and, I don't want to say, we try and do things that, like page landing speed is very big for me, right? And accessibility, what Google wants. Like if you do scoring on my pages, I'm virtually 100, right? On user experience number one, right? So, Google Search Console, if you have enough traffic, will show you what the actual Google Chrome user report is versus a Lighthouse speed report, right? So, there's certain things that go into that need to be done up front. But so our normal process would be, we just, write content, figure out what we want to write about, right? And then I'll send it to, we have somebody on Upwork that we use.
Okay,
right? And we'll send it out to him for writing. I may just, give him some quick tidbits on my opinion of, what I would want to say. He'll write the content. I'll review it. I'll send it to a few people if I need to, and then I'll rewrite it, right? Or I'll move things around so depending upon what I'm looking to do. And then we look for pictures, right? That would go along with it and be user friendly, and on mobile it may look well and things like that. And then from there, we'll try and our new thing now is writing a video script for everyone. So we'll try and do a video script, and then we'll send it over to production, and somebody we have another Upwork thing. And from there, we'll just try and get that video going. And once we have the content out there, we'll build a web page for it, right? And then we'll just send it to our various social media, accounts, and just try and get the links out there where we can. I think kind of the normal process for most folks that are trying to, get stuff out there.
Totally. So then the video side, are those like animated videos? Is it like an actor doing it? Is it you doing it? I'm curious.
It's an actor. Yeah.
Nice.
It's an actor.
That's a good way to do it. Interesting.
Yeah. Everyone told me I should be doing these videos, and I don't want to, I really don't want to. It's just from a brand perspective, just have the one lady she does a great job. And
then post those on YouTube?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel for that stuff. Yeah.
Keep going. Sorry. Yeah.
That's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, so we'll have, once we get the content, once we figure out what the layout, and then we'll just post it right onto YouTube. And we'll either, depending upon if we're looking to push the video or the, actual landing page, or, and then we'll see where people land, and, we'll try and figure out if we did something wrong, if it's not getting any traffic, well, what did we do? What's up, and how can we do better? Sometimes you just don't know,
What's your cadence for trying to release new content, and even if you're going to do a video and whatnot? Are they kind of topic specific that you're like, we're missing a video on this topic? Or is it more consistent than that on, like smaller topics, if you will, but higher frequency?
Yeah, so we'll go about 3 to 4 per month right now. I'd like to double that, but to do it the way we're doing it, and do it right, we're doing it about 3 to 4 per month. And sometimes it may be 2 or 1, and then sometimes it could be 6 or 7, right? Because, there'll be a backlog from one person is kind of holding that whole pipeline up, right? Somebody's on vacation or something. So, that's a little bit of a challenge from our end. And so we do try and go after the road least traveled, if you will. And I use the I don't know, Ryan, our buddy Ryan Deeds. I'm sure you know Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he, I was on a few of his podcasts, and he said, "Well, what do you mean? I said, "I don't know, like crop dusting insurance. Like, you go and write about, crop dusting insurance, and or find something that, if find words that people don't really search for that much, and then just be the absolute expert in it.
Yep.
Because those are your people.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. I just pulled up your YouTube page as well. Yeah, I can see the actress, and I mean it's consistent. It looks good.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, so let's dive into then kind of the further tech stack, because like I said, I'm curious on your experience with that Salesforce
Sure.
Applied Systems integration. So, person sees your content, prospect sees your content, it goes to the landing page. What happens then? How does it get into Salesforce? You write it. What's your experience with Epic? Just things like that.
Yes. So it's almost like, oh man, I don't know, think of a terrible example, but okay. So it's kind of like you buy a wakeboarding boat. Okay. Right. You get this wakeboarding boat and they give you a wakeboard and they go, have fun. So you got to learn how to wakeboard.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's Salesforce, right? Because we know how to drive Epic, right? We know the accounting was a monster, right? Like all this stuff is just incredible, right? To build out just the processes within that. And then the reporting with that is just like, oh boy, right?
Yeah.
And then you link over, and we use Enable, which has just been phenomenal. We can get into that after, but that was very helpful for us to sanitize a lot of the data and do a good job with that. And then even then it was bad. But back to Salesforce, so when we have to, if somebody comes to your website, then that information has to go somewhere. Right? Yep. So then we pull it into Salesforce. Salesforce takes it and it pushes it to Epic.
What type of information is it pushing into Epic?
Whatever you collect on your form.
Okay.
Right.
So name, address.
Yeah, exactly. And our forms we've been working, I know that we can do better than just a simple gravity form. That's why I was interested in your form when we were talking just before this. Because that's a cool form. So from that end, boom, it's in there. And then where does it go from there? Right. And that's where just to get it in there, you need somebody to program that and code it, right? Which is not that complex. It's just I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
I can do it, and I'm don't get me wrong. It's just you can't do everything in a business. So having somebody that's really knowledgeable in Salesforce or having a dev team somewhere is something that is important, because there's so much to do, right? You have to do the cadences, just like any CRM. You have to go down a user journey, and you have to build all of those out. And you have to attach whatever texting program, and you have to build in whatever phone system, if you want to do it that way. And, if you want certain timers on certain things, or, Joanne's not in today, but Susie is, where's the lead going? Who's getting assigned to it? And what happens after we call them and they don't answer? Do we move the stage? What happens when you move that stage, right? And that whole experience all the way down to, did we sell it or not? Right. And that's the fork that is kind of, we try and concentrate on. First of all, converting as many leads into opportunities, right? An opportunity would be we spoke to that person, and then from there, converting as many opportunities into a quote, right? Because if we're quoting them, we know that we want them, right? Ideally, anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, obviously trying to increase the ratios from quoted to bounded or bound.
Yeah. Well, so we looked at the Salesforce integration. I mean, briefly. I can't say that we dove in a lot. I guess I felt like it would be a lot more seamless. Like they would have had it a lot better laid out.
They're great. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're phenomenal from the connection between Epic and Salesforce. It's Loctite, right? That thing is built out great. It's just now you have a blank piece of paper,
a boat and a wakeboard.
You have a boat and a wakeboard, right?
Yeah.
You just you get a blank piece of paper. It's like, go and build a CRM.
That's kind of where I think that's where we struggled a bit with it. Was like, well, if I'm going to go do that, there's a lot of other things I could do where, I thought it just felt like it would be, oh, well, here's your base CRM. Here's the integrations it's going to do and build on top of that. But, and maybe it is, I'm sure it's
once you get it built out though, it's kind of almost like Epic, right? It's like, yeah, it's so awesome. It's so cool to see. The reporting in there is phenomenal. The things it can do is just is incredible. It really is. So yeah, I get it, and it would be a beast. And if I didn't have who I have on staff, we wouldn't have gone this route.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like, because it would be a beast to get it moving. But okay, that makes total sense. And I suppose if you're doing, I would venture to say, Salesforce for what you're doing is probably one of the only answers out there, considering you do have to connect it. You want it to connect to a lot of different things. You want it to be efficient, move through the pipe, and Salesforce is one of the best. HubSpot, there's some others out there for sure.
Yeah.
But it seems like, Salesforce can connect to virtually anything that's
it's built in. HubSpot, I hear, is easier to build out.
Okay.
It's more user friendly. It's easier to do that stuff. No matter what, you need to connect. You need to be able to measure what you're selling, right? Yeah. So however you're going to do that, you need something to connect it, right? So how are you going to connect? Is it going to be, you can extract the stuff at night and say, okay, how many of these, and then run these crazy spreadsheets, I suppose, if you wanted to, but that's really tough to actually get real marketing data. Yeah. And over a length of time that you feel comfortable with, and so when we sign in, for me anyway, I don't even have an Applied Epic login. I don't go in
team. There. Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, I go into Salesforce.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Because
it's
the integrations there. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So a couple of the other kind of tools that we had talked about that you're using, I'm just curious, you can elaborate on any of these that you find really valuable, but you talked about, Answer Connect, how you're doing NPS scoring, Twilio, I'm curious what other things that you're really leaning on.
Well, one thing that is really cool that I'd suggest you guys take a look at is, a lot of people have, so depending upon the time of day or whatever's going on, there's all fancy phone systems now, but, either call rail or, call tracking metrics to really, we're able to do some really cool stuff with that. And we use all sorts of different phone numbers that show us what percentage are getting clicked from here and there, and, our Salesforce marketing and different marketing campaigns, different ad structures we have. CallRail does something very similar. I don't think they directly integrated to Google Ads, but anyway, or maybe they do. Answer Connect is I call it like our nighttime folks. We have, oh God, what the hell is it? Agency, oh my Lord, I can't remember it, but it's a service, provider after hours, right?
Okay, yeah.
But if you're just calling to get a quote, we want somebody to answer the phone, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have Answer Connect as a service that you go through a list of questions with, and we integrate that into Salesforce. So we could integrate all of these things into Salesforce on top of each other. And then you start building a pretty cool picture where you could just start playing the piano a little bit, right? And I'm not good at the piano, but you get it. You can.
Yeah. If you were, that's how you envision it.
That's right. The levers.
Yeah, we call it a machine, and we turn the knobs.
Yes, exactly. Right. The guy in the Wizard of Oz. Right.
Yeah.
So, Answer Connect is just one way that we get somebody live on the phone. They're really cool. They're great. They're not expensive, and they were great to work with. So I really like them. The NPS scoring is mainly done, I believe, still through Agency Revolution. Don't tell them, but I'd probably be phasing them out soon. Because we have Salesforce, so we can kind of do it on our own, right? But we're not there yet, right? So we're keeping that box because it's working okay at this point.
Yeah.
Where it is, and then what was the other one you had asked?
Twilio.
Twilio, yeah. So Twilio is just built into Salesforce as our texting system.
Oh, yeah.
So, if it moves from a stage to another stage, hey, we tried to reach you here's our, give us a call or whatever it says, depending upon what time it is, right? And what time these texts go out, what time don't they go out? Are you the West Coast? Are you on the East Coast? And then if somebody's there live, we want somebody to be able to, be there live. So that took some work building out, because each has to have its own phone number. And then there's all sorts of like rules and stuff now where, you got to be approved and, stuff like, for texting, it gets a little complex, especially if you're trying to send out a bunch of them. So Twilio's great with that.
How many employees do you have, David?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So if you include our back end, and we've built out some teams, some VAs. I don't know if you're familiar with Cover Desk at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, in total, somewhere around 60 or 70, I would say is right about where we sit right now.
And then more of a practice management question. Are you doing anything beyond P&C insurance with them? Are you trying to cross-sell them in any capacity, for lack of a better term, and whatnot? And is there any tech involved in that?
So we account round. And I know the traditional cross-sell would be take a home and an auto and then to go get the commercial lines portion, or you have commercial lines, try and get the home and the auto. Account rounding, my understanding, would be you have a home, no auto. So we try and account round by running reports of home, no auto, and then sending an email out to those folks, right? That, hey, we have your home, no auto, blah, blah. Why don't you package it and get a quote type of thing. So yeah, those are automated reports that go out. Yeah.
Okay.
And they work, they work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we talk about a lot. I mean, the client is trusting you with at least one thing, right? I mean, why wouldn't they be open to other things that you can help them with, particularly when, if you have package discounts, if you have other reasons why, they should, whatever else you're trying to round out.
Yeah. And that's what talks to about is the success of the relationship, right? Are we building a digital relationship? Are we building a personal relationship? How is this going to go? What's the retention going to look like? And how can we make this experience? Nobody likes insurance, really. I mean, it's not fun. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean,
it doesn't buy you anything that you can
other than peace of mind
or put,
right. So it's a challenge to build that relationship, especially in a market like today, because, your rates are going up, less homes are being closed on from our end of it, right? So less balls are in the air, less people are searching online, right? From the commercial end of it, that has its own challenges that are, industry specific and most likely niche specific, right? So that's how do we build that relationship from you filled out the form to either you leave or you have a claim. Right. And where can we improve on those little touches, if you will? And, how does that turn into retention percentage and, even referrals or, where what's happened to that client and what's their experience, and, eventually we're going to, we haven't done it yet, but we're going to go down the road of eNPS scoring. So we'll be building that out soon. So if somebody has a touch from an employee, right, we'll link those two and then say, what was your experience with that individual, right? So that's coming to a theater near you.
Nice. Are you using a tool for that?
Yeah. So the answer is yes, but we haven't kind of decided on one yet. And we have too many. Yeah, we have not done it yet. We have too many things we're working on at the moment. We're maxed out. We're maxed out completely. But it's fun.
How many on average? Like, give me an idea on how many households you're writing a day.
So we get like 35, 40 leads a day, I would say.
Okay.
Right. So in there, well, the team gets more than that. So, oh man. So I could tell you what our closing ratio, right? And so if you take the leads to opportunities, let's just say it's 25 to 20 opportunities per day, right?
Okay.
We're closing about 20 to 25% of those opportunities. Okay. but these are more like, they're focused on some higher revenue accounts because they're either like a high net worth individual or they're a home auto package type of thing on Long Island. So we focus on that stuff, and then we try and push the rest of the stuff that we can do, but it's not our core competency. We're starting to try and outsource that, frankly. Yeah. So, we're doing good enough. It's always a struggle, right? And then how many of those people stick, and what's the quality of the online, right? If you have somebody looking for a $5 million home in California, and they would State Farm paying $7,000. Yeah, you got a good deal, right?
Yeah.
So, we see some of that, and that's a big churn for our team, because that's frustrating to them.
Mm-hmm.
So Salesforce is back to the tech side of it. Salesforce is a great way for them to be able to have an extra extension for them. They can shoot a text and say, look, we took a look at it. I'm sorry. This is just not for us. If they can't get them on the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just hit close, done, right? Next, I think the goal is to get more qualified leads every single day. And we're doing as good as we can for that. And there's also, from that end of it is, I think it's, a lot of agents sit on a gold mine and they don't even know it,
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, if you think of the average agency retention, I don't even know what it is. Call it 91, 90%. We'll just call it 92%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So 8% of revenue, let's just say, keep it numbers easy. You have a $1 million agency. So what's 8% of that? That's $80,000. So what do you got to write per month, right? To outright $80,000 in revenue for 1 year, right? So what is that? 760, whatever, right? 1,000 a month just to break even. Those numbers get damn big.
Yeah.
I know I'm sure they're big for you guys, and that's but people do it. The big guys do it, and they grow 15, 20% every year, and 25% and 30, and so can we. And that's the way I think of it.
100%. Well, and you're not cold calling, David. So
that's right.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Although maybe I will be.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome. What did we not cover that you'd like to, in your experience, that you found helpful, that you'd like everybody else listening to know about? And then, if people want to find you guys, see what you're doing, maybe you don't want them to know what you're doing, I don't know, but how can they get a hold of you?
Well, yeah. So certainly LinkedIn is one area. I'm not all that active on it. I would just look us up online. It's coastalinsurancesolution.com, no S, solution. And you could just give the agency a call and ask for me. There's, as far as, what I would want others to know. I think persistence in just about anything in the insurance business is key. So whether that be your SEO, whether it be online digital marketing, whether it be your tech stack or your employee frustrations or your revenue, or just stay at it, be persistent, and that it's not a get rich quick business. It's a slow one, and it's a journey for yourself, and and I think the more you can do things like Elliot, what you've done here is having people on trying to help other agents. And that's good karma, and I try and do the same and help anybody. So if you need something, just reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that, and I would encourage anybody to take Dave up on that, because he's clearly figured out quite a few things and is killing it. So thanks for the time, man. I appreciate it. I know you guys are busy. Yeah. I know it's almost 6 o'clock there, so
all good. Thanks for having me on. It was great. Good to see you again. And yeah, it really was. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it, Dave. Take care.
Take care, Ryan.
Thank you for tuning in to Getting Past the Premium. We are excited to continue breaking down barriers and finding solutions together. If you would like to reach out regarding anything you heard in today's episode, find links and contact info in the description. Until next time, have a great day, and let's continue getting past the premium.